Alright, Path of Exile players, there's a big patch note that just came out recently, and it's talking about patch 0.2.1. Let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm not going to read everything because that'd be kind of boring, and I want to go ahead and just give you guys the highlights, the stuff that you want to go ahead and know from this big patch update that we are getting. So I'm going to go over stuff that I like in the update. I'll go over what I still think needs to be adjusted, and overall how I feel about the game, as I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I left Path of Exile to play Last Epoch and Diablo because, you know, everyone was giving the game negative reviews on Steam. There was a big backlash because there just wasn't enough loot. The Ritualist class is still what I would consider underperforming, where the Amazon is overperforming, but I'm gonna be real with you, I had a lot more fun playing the Amazon, and I actually like that the Amazon class feels very strong. Fingers crossed that they don't nerf it next time, but the reality is, well, I think it might happen. However, let's go over what I like in the brand new update. So, they said they are going to be significantly improving both the drop rates and the incredibly rare unique items. So if you maybe wanted to get an Ingenuity, a Headhunter, maybe they're going to add Mage Blood soon to the game, and I don't think they're going to be so common that it's like, you know, if you play like Diablo 3, you know, just get legendaries and uniques raining down from the sky. I don't think that that's the case, although I wouldn't be opposed to that because the game is in early access. I think it's great to let your players just try out new things. Just let the players know that you want to increase the drop rates so they can test out some of the items. I think people would be like, okay, it's cool. I love getting new items to mess around with, maybe make a build. It actually encourages people to maybe make things that they normally wouldn't play. If these items are super rare and for a niche build, if they get one to drop, they may be inclined to re-roll a character and actually go spend another 100 hours on a new character. So as far as feedback, I think this is a great idea. I don't know what the significantly improving means though. Again, at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and test that out. But overall, the mindset of increasing the drop rates for some of the items that you never would get. Like, I have thousands of hours in PoE 1. I've never had a mirror to drop. If I got a mirror to drop, I would be like super ecstatic. Even if I've been playing the game for a really long time and then now they're just dropping frequently, I get it. Some people can kind of feel like disconnected. However, again, we're in the early access version of the game. Let people test out and have fun with the game, you know? That's the way I see it. They're also going to be lowering some of the more dangerous map modifiers. That's a good thing, means less deaths. I overall think, though, in terms of, like, you know, dying in PoE just sucks. Also, getting to, like, you know, max level, it feels kind of unreachable for most players, especially because I come from the side of, like, Diablo as well as Last Epoch. And those games, you can get to max level. It's not, like, out of the, you know, ordinary. It just takes a little bit of time, whereas Path of Exile, dying is so painful. I know that there's a omen that you can throw on that's like, it went from like worth a divine to like now it's like 5 exalts or something like that. It did get a lot cheaper, but I just think overall, just no XP penalty. It takes long enough, man. I think that they should really look at trying to make the goal for most people to hit maybe like 98, 99. If you want to make 100 super hard to get and only like, you know, very few people can reach it, that's cool. But overall, I think less deaths is a good thing because it kind of ties into, you know, progression, because if you're dying, you're not getting XP, and it just feels bad to like just die to something that just feels like it's, you know, even though most times you're never really getting one-shotted. If you go back and check the replay, it's like 2 or 3 series of attacks. When monsters do like crits and then you're also shocked, and because the charm system and you may not have like the charm charges, feels bad overall. Anyways, they also announced 22 new runes, and I think this is cool. Obviously, we don't know what these do, but, you know, any announcement of something new to maybe interact with, that's awesome. They also said more rewards overall: Ritual, Expedition, Rogue, Exile, Essences. Essences actually kind of need a rework. In my personal opinion, we'll talk about that in just a second. And then they wanted to add more endgame content and variety improvements to not give you guys like the same maps, and that's totally good. I think that that's overall great. And then also, other things that I really like in the game that I've noticed, because I haven't played in a while. Like I said, I've been playing Last Epoch and Diablo 4, but coming back, I like that, like, when I do a map, it tells me when, like, the map is complete, and it shows, like, all the things on the right side. I don't know if it has it right here, but, like, on the right side, if you have any, like, you know, rituals or things, it tells you what you have, and it's like, did you complete it? And I love that. That is a really nice quality of life change on the mini-map. And then also it shows you all the rares on the map. This is like a newer change that I've noticed, you know, since I last played. And then also the citadels that you do, you kind of like, well, you have to actually put enough modifiers on them. That's one thing where I was like, what the heck is this in the very beginning. But there are certain things where it's either these over here where you get like your new Atlas points. I didn't understand what this was because it was new to me for a second. But The citadels, you put a certain amount of mods, then you run it, and then you can throw in like little like books inside, and I think that that is much better than the way it used to actually be done. So that's cool. I like that. Now I kind of want to talk about other improvements that I would love to see in the future. So as far as it goes, what I think needs to be adjusted. So doing the campaign 2 times still sucks. I think 1 time is like slow enough already. Obviously, once they come out with the rest of like the campaign, if it's just like a 1-time thing, it'll feel much better than doing the whole thing again. I really just hate doing the whole thing again, especially because the way that it's set up, if you guys know, like Act 2, it's like you gotta go here, talk to this person, now go back, go to the caravan, move the caravan over here, walk out. It just, I've done it so many times, and I still have to have like some sort of like little like stat sheet note where like I go here and then I go here. Like I have like these notes to make things much easier, especially when it requires you to kind of like do some backtracking on Act 2 specifically. In general, I think the trial, the Sekiyamas, and all like the things to basically gain your ascendancy, and even with like ultimatum, I feel like the last 2 are very hard to do for most people, and the reason why most people don't do them is because it's just either too hard or it's too painful to like die at the very end. And I think that they can really look at reworking those to be a little bit more accessible for your average player. I mean, like I play PoE 1, and all the time people are like, I hate doing like the trials, right? And I can do them because I've been playing the game for a really long time, but I totally get it with PoE 2. Like, I'll do in PoE 1, I'll do all my ascendancies myself, but with PoE 2, I just like to get the carry because I just want to go there and get the thing done. I don't want to go ahead and have these mods and then, oh, I get stuck with a bad, mod, GG's, man, reset. I don't really like that feeling. The reason why I wanted to also mention is, like, if you just check, the Forbidden Trove Discord, which is like a Discord where people like, do like Path of Exile trading and stuff, there are so many people that advertise, doing the, last trial runs for your, ascendancy points. And there's a reason why there's so many people that are doing it, and it's profitable because people don't want to do that. And I think if majority of your players do not want to engage in something that's kind of required for your progression, right, to make your character feel powerful, you need those ascendancy points. I think that they can really look at making those, again, way easier so people don't have to go, or they can make it not as long. That could also be another solution. Another thing that I think, just in general, I just don't get why there's no HP on the skill tree, like the passive tree. That doesn't really make sense. I also see like essences or memes, like it's like it upgrades an item to like a magic, and then you can't go from like magic to rare or just reroll the rares, just like a chaos orb in PoE 1. In general, crafting is still kind of a slot machine. I would really love to have alteration orbs in the game, and you just keep on spamming those. Blessed orbs would be nice. Crafting overall needs an overhaul. Like minus mana cost on rings could be a great addition to the game, especially when you level through the campaign. Oh man, I can't tell you how many times it's like, dude, I just don't want to be out of mana. So later on though, like right now in my earlier stages of my gameplay here, in the late game, like I just have like 2% mana on kill on a jewel, and it pretty much solves everything up until you get to the boss, and then you gotta pop the mana flask consistently. I think mana leech could also be something that we could like get a little bit more accessible for, again, elemental builds and stuff. And good. Overall, I think that the base movement speed, as far as it goes at the end game, at least giving like 10 to 15% would be great. Also, would really love if they just added specifically like this unique from PoE 1 without nerfing it, because every single time they bring these uniques and they talk about bringing new uniques to the game, they keep on making them like so bad, and I don't know why, man. It's like, just, you have the unique in PoE 1, just copy and paste it. I mean, you could update the graphics and visuals, but like keep it like 99% the same. But like a lot of the uniques that come out, and they're just like garbage, right? But there's still items like Gold Rim and Wanderlust. They're like, yeah, great for leveling, but like most of these uniques still kind of suck overall. But I would really love for them just to let us add Asnos Mark, throw in maybe a Lightning Warp gem, and then basically have Temporalis before it's nerfed. And then also Impulses would be a really great addition to the game, especially since like they wanted to have Lightning Spear be like the #1 skill in the game for the most part. It feels so dang good. But overall, here's how I kind of feel about the game in its current state, even with like these newer updates that we will be getting in this big update. These are kind of like the highlights. Again, there's everything here, but for the most part, it's just basically more loot, and they're kind of just making the game better overall. That's like kind of like the gist of this as far as like the patch goes. However, I will link it down below in case any of you guys want to read it. Now, I'm going to tell you guys how I feel about the game in its current state. So, I'm not gonna lie, Amazon is OP, like super OP. You can see like this boss over here, I completely electrocuted him, and then I built up the stagger bar. The boss really didn't get to interact. I almost feel like this class is playing like Diablo 4, where like my character's so powerful, I'm just dunking on content. I actually kind of like how it feels, though. I'm not gonna lie. And I don't think that that's how they intended for this class to work. So I'm kind of disappointed that more than likely this class is going to get nerfed. But I actually really like how the game feels right now. It just feels like I'm able to blast after they have technically buff certain things. So these are things that they did themselves. In the earlier stages of the game was a lot more rough, especially in Act 1. When I played in the first stages of the game, when like it first came out for like the new 2.0, when they came out to Amazon, the game was like a lot harder. But now it just feels like I am OP. Anyways, I've been pretty much one-shotting most of the stuff. This, again, is my early game. I just got there last night on this class, because I made a ritualist. That class sucks. That class definitely needs some buffs. It's like, it's so incredibly slow, but I could make a whole 10-minute video complaining about how much I dislike the ritualist. But the Amazon in particular feels really good. So that's good, because that's one of the newer classes. I think crafting seems a little bit better. I could have been just getting lucky, I'm not gonna lie, but they had said that they removed a lot of the undesirable stats in the game. Although, like, you know, I still hit that light radius, but it's not like a light radius hybrid with accuracy. But I still think that they could remove some of the stuff that like no one really wants, right? Let's be honest. I don't know there's that many people that want a light radius build. If you want to have these like unique things, you can maybe just have them roll on very specific unique things, but like light radius, come on, man. But crafting overall seems like it's better. I've been getting kind of lucky. I Vol Orbed one Lycoside, which is one of the shields that you use to give you crazy amounts of accuracy, and I ended up getting increased like block chance, which is crazy. I might have just been getting really lucky, I'm not gonna lie. But the crafting overall, it does seem better. Even though it's still a straight up slot machine, your odds seem better. But I'm also talking this from a standpoint of someone that does a lot of randomization and just getting lucky with a slot machine. So I could have just gotten a lot more lucky. I also feel like I died a lot less, but also I feel like Amazon is so OP, and that's why I said Amazon probably OP over here. So I did feel like I was dying a lot less after they've been, you know, consistently updating the game. I did feel like there was more loot drops. Like I was getting definitely a lot more transmutes and like the earlier currency. It felt like I was definitely getting a lot more than I was before. Exalts just here and there, especially in the early game. It's like it exists, but it's not so dry anymore. I feel like it was definitely dry a little bit before. This is one addition that I think is huge for the game. Belts can now have resistance. This is big because belts kind of sucked before, especially in the suffix department, because you could not get specifically like resistances, but now you get like triple res on a belt, or you get double res plus strength. That's a really like common thing, and it's really good. And I think for a lot of the players that are not engaging in trading, or in just even if you are trading, like this is huge to be able to get like 2 or 3 more resistances on your build in that particular slot. It just makes the belts just in general so much better. So that's awesome. I also gambled this really awesome spear over here. So like I was having a lot of fun. Currently, I feel like the game's in a lot better state because, again, I am having a lot more fun with the game. And that is a big thing that Last Epoch was doing that I really felt like the other 2 action RPGs were missing out. Diablo recently like nerfed loot in Season 8, and then also Path of Exile. In terms of when it first came out, a lot of people were complaining about the loot, right? There was a reason why everyone was downvoting the game, and then on Steam, it had a mostly negative review. It's because people didn't like, you know, just not having drops, feeling really slow and just constantly dying. And so they started buffing everything and started nerfing the monsters. So the bottom line is I had a lot more fun with the most recent updates. And obviously these updates are going in the same direction. We're getting new content. We're getting more rewards. We're lowering the amount of dangerous map modifiers. So again, we're moving in an even positive direction with the update on patch 0.2.1. So I'm really excited about this update, but like I said, let me know, guys, what you think of it. If you guys are enjoying Path of Exile, how do you guys currently feel as far as like the current game state in the game? But yeah, I really also like that it tells you that like the map is complete on like the right side, and it shows you which ones that you've completed. It shows all the rares at the start of the map, all these nice quality of life things, the citadels where you can just throw the little books inside after you complete it. All these like little small quality of life things really make the game a lot more enjoyable overall. So, you know, shout out to GGG. I'm really enjoying Path of Exile, and I'm looking forward to playing more of the game. As, like I said, I straight up just kind of dipped out of the game. But more build guides will be coming very soon to the channel, and man, the Amazon class is absolutely a blast to play. So if you haven't played the game in a while, is it time to kind of come back? That's the real question here. And I would say absolutely wait for this update, because like, why play the game if you're going to get way more loot in the new update that is coming out literally, they said they want it next week. They said, as far as it goes, we're going to deploy it at the end of the next week. We don't have a definitive date, but I would just wait. If you're like, I kind of want to play Path of Exile, maybe you could go through the campaign, but like, I know there's people that only have a limited amount of time for video games, whether it be action RPGs or not. I would wait for this update, because like, why go through the campaign when maybe you get like, let's say 10 exalts in total, and you can maybe get like way more as far as like the loot goes, and maybe you'll get more things from engaging in all the other forms of content, whether the essences or whatnot. Even though in the early game you don't really get too much opportunity to get a lot of loot, because you don't have the ability to modify all the stuff, because you don't have like the atlas. I think the game is a lot more enjoyable overall. So log in, play for sure once the update comes out. That's kind of how I feel about it, because while I was live streaming, a couple people asked, why are you back on PoE? Is it good? Should I hop back on? I would say I had enough fun already, but the newer additions is only going to get better. So really looking forward to seeing this update. Anyways, that's how I feel about Path of Exile. That's like the kind of summary of the patch notes that I wanted to go over. But again, let me know how you feel about the game. But I'm having fun on my Amazon for sure. Anyways, peace out, guys. Have a good one.